A lot of times people think the writing life is about writing, and ideally it is, but in reality there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes on, kind of administrative stuff. So we thought for a change it might be interesting to kind of do a week in the writing life and just kind of talk about what's going on this current week in our writing lives.
Welcome back to Coffee with the Authors. I'm Wendelin Van Draanen. This is Mark Parsons. Notice I've got 2 thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm a lot. So if you enjoy our channel, come on. Anyway, a week in the life, which is so kind of different than it used to be, because if you are yet to be published, know that you have the luxury of
Yes.
writing. You get to write, and it's a joyful thing. The love of the craft. That is why we do this. And Mark and I find ourselves more and more doing the administrative part of being an author. And there's so much to that the joy of the craft and the writing, the actual writing, takes a back seat. So in about 5 months, I have a book coming out. It's called Ghosted. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
There are a lot of moving parts to getting ready for that. And so this week, I've been setting up visits to schools and libraries and a conference in the Northern California area. So it's a kind of a logistical nightmare because, okay, I've committed to this one thing. I've asked this other person, would you like me to do whatever? And then I have to wait for them, because if they say no, or that's a bad day, then I have to move things around. And so I have like 15 irons in the fire. Only some of them
All
are
at
getting
once.
hot, and some of them are like, is there anybody home? Are you
Right.
getting back to me? So there's been a lot of moving parts to that. And then I all of a sudden got invited to do a school visit somewhere else. And so there's the making sure that that's all arranged and we're on the same page for all the logistics behind that. And so it all takes a lot of time. It all takes a lot of time to coordinate, follow up, instigate, write, press releases, all the things that we do in concert with the publisher and their promotional efforts on your behalf. So everything needs to get coordinated, and so there's just a lot of email going on.
It's been a busy week of email. The first thing I want to mention, I actually had, and it's kind of rare for writers. If you look at writers online, they live a very curated life. In other words, it's kind of bullshit
Because it's really boring.
Right.
Okay, we spend a lot of time at the computer. I mean, what's there to put on social media?
Right. Oh, this week I worked at my manuscript and I'm still on chapter 7 and it still kind of sucks and I'm still fighting away with chapter 7. The end. That's what I did over my summer vacation. So. But no, what they actually put on all the really nice stuff that happens once in a great while. So I had one of those things that happens for me pretty rarely, once in a great while, something like this happens, is I found out, actually I was in the garage all grubby working on an old motorcycle, and I found out that I had won the Nutmeg Award.
Which sounds like, but it's a big deal.
I don't know if it's a big deal, but it's a deal.
It's a fun deal.
It's a fun deal. Here's the punchline. Every state has a reading list, and they have 5 or 10 or 20 books on their list, and then all the kids read them and they vote, and then they, the nominees, and then they pick a winner.
It's a student-selected winner.
Right, and they all do it a little differently. I've been on state lists before. I was on the Utah list. That's the Beehive Award.
The Beehive and the Nutmeg.
Right, the Beehive and the Nutmeg. So the Nutmeg is Connecticut State Reading List, and they have 4 categories. They have kind of a picture book and kind of a elementary, and then middle school, then high school, which would equate to YA. It's grades 9 through 12. And the 909 Project was one of 10 nominees in their high school area. And luckily for me, one of the winners in another category posted that she had won and posted about that the results were out, and she tagged me in it, which is very nice. I really appreciate that, because otherwise I probably wouldn't have known, because some editorial changes at my publisher, therefore I would have been in the dark for a little while, but they would have called me. But
the committee, the committee would have called you.
Yeah, the award committee would have called. So it's to me, it's a big deal. It means that the high school students in Connecticut had all these books to read and vote upon, and they enjoyed the 909 Project.
what it meant for me this week was, because, you know, it takes a while for all the award stuff to happen. I thought it would be really funny to make an award of my own for Mark. And so I bought a spice grinder and a bunch of a thing of nutmegs, like whole nutmegs, which I've never actually seen before. So whole nutmegs. And then I made a little sticker that went on the grinder that says winner of the Nutmeg Award, you know. And so I gave it to him as a present, which was, you know, which was super fun.
It was hilarious.
Yeah, I know.
That's it for the Nutmeg Award. It was a nice thing. It was nice to win that state award. And the benefit to a writer, just from kind of a nuts and bolts standpoint, it means
a nutmeg and bolt standpoint.
A nutmeg and nut bolts standpoint.
Okay.
Is that it means that more people get exposed to your work. Basically, it's kind of all about discoverability and exposure. It means more people get exposed to your work, and it's also honestly. There's no purse with this or anything. It's just a nice thing. It's validation for the writer
because being a writer is a lonely thing. It's just you and your little typey words, you know. And so when something like this happens, it just gives you a boost. It's like somebody not only read my work, but all the kids in Connecticut liked it the best.
Okay, so that was it for the Nutmeg Award. So what else happened to you this week?
Okay, well, the Chinese edition of Flipped is, it's going to get a new edition there. And they're going to take some of the slides that I shared when I went to the South China Book Festival and gave my little keynote about Flipped and da-da-da. I had slides that went with that. So they've asked me to write a narrative that goes along with the slides that they can add to the back of the new edition that they're putting out of Flip. So it's a 3,000 to 4,000 word essay, and it's due in like a couple of weeks. And so this week I'm like, okay, I need to do this. So the writing that I did this week was sort of the narrative that went with the slides that they can then use to add to the book. But I'm not really good at narrative. I'm not really comfortable with it. I'm more like, I just like to make stuff up. So it's been work actually for me to do this, but it's a joyful thing also because, you know, they're putting this effort into a new edition and it'll get new readership and people will be excited because it's about the book to movie experience. So they'll be very excited to be able to read about that and to see the pictures that go along with it.
If you kind of filter all this through, the bottom line is that neither one of us really got to do actual drafting, like, you know, actual first draft writing during this week because we're busy.
I wrote 2 pages. I don't know about you.
That's a chapter.
Kind of is in this book I'm writing.
So I have a finished manuscript. It's a thriller. It was with my agent. It had been to one editor who had it for quite a while, and we went back and forth, and she's probably not going to be the editor for this book. So in the meantime, my agent had retired, and the original editor at Delacorte also retired. So the manuscript kind of became a bit of an orphan, as they call it. So a little inside baseball. So when my agent retired, she kind of gave my adoption papers to another agent at the agency, and this other agent, who's also very experienced, is really good. And we had a kind of introductory phone call, and everything went really well. I really like her. I think she's really smart. She's also different in my original agent in that she's more editorial, which can be a good thing for writers. Actually, it gives you just another source of good qualified feedback. So, and she's read the manuscript. She likes it, but she basically said before we take it out on a wider submission, you know, there's a few things we could do. You know, tighten it up. Really good common sense editorial advice. And no matter what, almost certainly whichever editor it lands with is going to say the same thing. It's always a matter of trying to tighten it up, make things flow better, that kind of stuff, that kind of big picture stuff. So I have been doing that, and I'm also building what's called a reverse outline. We can talk about that later, but basically it's kind of an as-built or an after the fact outline. If you're not an outliner, if you're a pantser, yeah, you probably don't have a detailed outline, just some scruffy little notes here and there. So I'm building a real kind of formal, detailed outline in a table of what happens in every chapter, which makes it much easier to talk about later. So this is what I'm doing this week. This is my writing life this week, is going through something I've already written and been through it several times, and tightening it up, which I've already done actually. But now I'm going through every single chapter and just trying to delineate what happens in each chapter and which of the main plot threads that applies to as we go. It's kind of a new process for me, but it's been really interesting, and I think it'll be really helpful down the road.
Well, that's it for this week. We hope that you found this little insight into our writing life informative, fun, or interesting. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, thumbs up, dream big, work hard, don't give up.
And thumbs up, keep writing.
Okay, well, we have no outtake.
So, there won't be.
There won't be.
There will be.
No, there won't be.
Yes, there will.
No, there won't.
Yes, there
No.
will. Wait. Okay, if you're seeing this, I'm right.